Week 13 of the 2024 NFL season was Thanksgiving, and there were a lot of teams that were thankful for these quarterback performances. I'm professional quarterback Justin Arth, here to give you my top 5 quarterback performances of Week 13, and as always, a couple honorable mentions as well. So let's get into those honorable mentions. Jameis Winston for 4 touchdowns on that roller coaster ride, Tua Tagovailoa, Jordan Love, and Jayden Daniels. Number 5, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold had a 111.6 QBR, 21 of 31 for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yes, there may be other honorable mentions like Jayden Daniels or Jordan Love who may have played a more complete game, but when the Vikings were down 19-3 and needed a spark, Sam Darnold was that spark for the Minnesota Vikings. Elusiveness, athleticism in the pocket to escape pressure and make plays downfield. The ability to pull the trigger down the field without flinching. Slide protections on late blitz shows. Standing in the face of pressure with 300-pounders barreling down your face. Delivering absolute strikes and dimes. Sam Darnold leads the NFL in pass attempts down the field. He's converting on that consistently in this Kevin O'Connell offense. Sam Darnold was the cog in the Vikings' comeback win over Arizona. And hey, if he continues to ball like this, boy, do we have a sleeper in the NFC. Number 4, Aidan O'Connell. Aidan O'Connell had a 116.4 QBR, 23 of 35 for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bombs over Baghdad. That's the perfect description of Aidan O'Connell's game this week against Steve Spagnuolo's Kansas City Chiefs. Steve Spagnuolo essentially said, hey, Aidan O'Connell can't beat us, and these weapons other than Brock Bowers can't beat us, so let's basically man these guys up, bring pressure, and try to force the ball out of Aidan O'Connell's hands, and force Aidan to beat them in man-to-man coverage. And for the most part, Aidan O'Connell had the upper hand. In weeks past, like I've said with Caleb Williams, tight on-a-line needles into tight windows became O'Connell's calling card this week. It's very impressive when you see an NFL quarterback deliver these throws consistently in a game, but even more so against a Steve Spagnuolo Chiefs defense that has been really, really good this year. And I'm glad that a kind of under-the-radar quarterback is getting back into my list and showing that us under-the-radar guys like myself can ball in the NFL. Number 3, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had a 112.7 QBR, 28 of 38 for 309 yards and 3 touchdowns with an interception. Burrow continues to play like an MVP for a Bengals team who can't seem to find a win despite his amazing play. You have to downgrade the play just slightly with the fumble and the interception, but both turnovers were arguably not fully to blame on Joe Burrow. He outplayed the turnovers with some impressive throws, playmaking ability, and some unreal ability to create in this offense. Burrow continues to ball, and it is a shame that the Cincinnati Bengals cannot win despite him playing like an MVP. The Bengals are giving him the Matt Ryan Atlanta Falcons treatment right now. I should know as a little bit of an Atlanta native. Number 2, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had a 126.4 QBR, 29 of 38 for 414 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Russell Wilson had his way against the Bengals in Week 13. He obviously started off throwing that pick 6, but he got the pick 6 out of the way early, and you could very well say that that was also a questionable no call and a good read based on the numbers of leverage that you saw pre-snap, even on that mistake of throwing the pick 6. Russ was forced out of the pocket multiple times with the Cincinnati pass rush that looked better this week, and he needed to make plays on the move and looked like his younger version of himself. He made a lot of great decisions, a lot of great anticipatory throws, and he outdueled Joe Burrow in the jungle. And number 1, Josh Allen. Allen had a 141.3 QBR, 13 of 17 for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns, with an additional 13 yards on the ground, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown on that lateral. In a game where it was 20 degrees outside and snow on the ground, a quarterback will need to make plays in other ways because you can't really throw the ball with your hands being all clammy and slippery. And so how do you win in games like that? You win through playing mind games. You win through decision making and making the very short, quick passes and the routine plays, making those count. Josh Allen did that and some in this game. He was the first quarterback to have a passing, rushing, and a receiving touchdown in the same game in NFL history. He was making plays all over the field, and obviously obviously, we talk about Josh Allen being a very physical runner. In cold temperatures like this, his physicality will wear down a defense and make it easier to run the football as a whole in the offense. His physicality dominated this game against the 49ers and kind of pushed them into submission early on in the game. So he was making great plays when his number was called. He was making plays on the ground when his legs were called. And then, hey, even that lateral to get him a receiving touchdown was a heads-up play as well by that receiver that tossed it to him.